Minasan, konnichiwa. Kyo wa Okazaki de Mitsubishi Destinator o shijo shite shimashita. We are surprisingly in the Mitsubishi Motors Okazaki plant, and we have been authorized to shoot and show you the all-new Mitsubishi Destinator. Okay, excuse me for my Japanese, but this is actually our very first look at the Mitsubishi Destinator over here in Okazaki, Japan. This is Mitsubishi Motors' flagship factory because they actually have their proving grounds right here, which we actually managed to put this car through its paces, and I'll tell you more about that later, but obviously, I'll have to give you a walk around about the car. So first, its design language is based off gravitas and dynamism, and obviously you can see lots of elements that you first saw in the DSD concept. So you have its dynamic shield over here, a really nice closed-off grille with hexagons, but it's not an EV, it's not a hybrid. It's an ICE-powered car. And then when we get to the side of the Destinator, it's pretty nice. So you have these bulked-up two-tone 18-inch wheels over here, a really nice side profile that looks like a grown-up X-Force, just as he said. So the large fender flares, and this piece of cladding over here adds to the bulkiness of the car. Now, this is the iconic C-pillar that they've carried over from the DSD concept, which is a very nice thing because you don't see that many concept cars get carried over into production models. Now, let's look at the back. So next, when we get to the back, it's the same thing that you've come to expect from the X-Force, but it's grown up, just as I've said. So you have your T-shaped LED lights here, the iconic hexagon, that this is like, it's a little shield you see back here, your Mitsubishi badge, and then Destinator sprawled out on the back. This is a power tailgate, and there's a lot of space in the back because this is a 7-seater and we have folded the rear seats. But when you put them up, which is very easy, there. Still a decent amount of space. You have underload storage, like pretty much the same as the Expander, but there's lots of space inside. And I'm pretty sure you want to see the inside. So let's talk about that now. So the interior of the Destinator is very, very nice. It's a big step up compared to other Mitsubishi cars. And what can I say? You have lots of leather materials around here. Obviously, this has a digital driver's display right in front. And obviously, a 12.3-inch infotainment screen similar to the one in the X-Force. One new thing is that we have a panoramic sunroof and you can operate it from the infotainment, or you have your redundant physical controls back here. And that physical controls opens up the panoramic sunroof, and the panoramic sunroof makes the big cabin feel even more spacious, more homely, considering that you have a lot of space, lots of elbow room, lots of leg room in the first row. And in the second row, I could say it's a pretty nice place to be in. You have the Yamaha Premium Dynamic Sound System, which is an 8-speaker sound system. Obviously, I can't play any music. Automatic climate control with Nano EX air purification. A wireless charger, obviously with support for wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. And lots of space around. Plus, this is a cool box, if you didn't know that. Now, let's go to the second row. Now, when we get to the second row of the Destinator, this is where families will love this car. So you have way more space than the Expander, and you have just as much versatility. We have 2 tray tables. You have your rear seat climate controls over here, a USB-C, USB-A, and obviously seating for 7. So the middle seat can be folded down to look just like this. Now, if you don't have anyone seated in the middle, it makes for a very comfortable spot. And I'm pretty sure you want to see how I fit in the third row. So I'm back here in the third row, and getting in was pretty easy. All you have to do is fold the front seat and it will just tumble forward like that. Now, in terms of space, this can be adjusted, so I can recline this, and I am very comfortable right now. The seat in front of me can also be adjusted, meaning that you won't have to fight over space. And that's what I think is important. Now, it's time for me to take this out on a test drive around Okazaki. Okay, so this is our first test of the day. This is the cross-country circuit.
This is cross-country circuit.
Yes, just as it says. So this cross-country circuit is meant to emulate different provincial conditions, so not just the city. So the roads are probably not as paved as well as we think it is, different potholes and everything. And we're driving the Destinator in normal mode to see just how good it is. First conditions, we immediately get on a loose gravel surface. It's very slippery because it just rained. Following the lead car, Destinator feels, ooh, lots of potholes over here. But that's fine because the lead car is going at around 70-80 kilometers and the Destinator is holding up pretty well. So the shock absorbers and everything's holding up very well on this very bumpy road. The road's really like this, right? It's really meant to be super bumpy. Okay. So as you just saw, super bumpy. Think C5 but worse. How are we doing? Pretty well. Now we have even more gravel roads over here, but this one has a little bit more mud compared to the first one. And take note, we're not even on gravel mode. We're just using normal mode. Now we're switching to gravel mode, but we'll go through the track again. So Mitsubishi says that the gravel mode was derived from, obviously, their WRC heritage. You know, Rally Art, Lancer Evolution, Pajero Evolution. So, currently, on the more loose gravel surface that we've been through, this allows for a lot more control compared to the normal mode. And you don't even have to be a rally driver to know that this is definitely a lot more confident through the corners in gravel mode. But here you can feel the traction control helping keep me straight in these conditions. And these are not ideal conditions, mind you. Now we're back on the muddier part. And in gravel mode, let's see how we do. So it's very evident in gravel mode there is significantly less slip compared to the normal mode. It's more confident, it's more compliant. You can actually see the active yaw control working to help keep the car stable, which is very good because you will be confident to drive the car because it is very safe on the road. And this concludes the cross-country road. So I'll see you in the next track. Okay, so test number 2. We are going through the slopes. So as explained by Tamura-san, these slopes are meant to emulate how well the Destinator does when going up and down the slopes. He said it's just like Baguio. And I guess we'll find out. Let's go through this one. Very effortless, very easy. Now, let's go through another one. You might think that because this has a gasoline engine, it's just 1.5 liters and it's just front wheel drive, you might think it's underpowered, but no. So expect this to be packed full of families and it will handle it pretty well. Of course, when we're going down ramps or slopes like this, that is what the 360-degree camera is for. We press this and then now we see how we are going. So we're going down. It's very easy. Super, super easy. We go up the steepest one. I don't know how many degrees that is, but he said we just have to go through it as long as there is speed. Speed. Speed and power solves many things.
I believe in speed. Power.
I believe in speed and power. Speed and power solves everything. And I think that's it. It's pretty self-explanatory. Let's go to the next test. So this one is pretty interesting. So we will be doing the handling course, the ride comfort course, and the most exciting is the high-speed course. Now, for some quick recap, this is a 4B40, so the same 1.5 liter turbocharged engine found in the likes of the Eclipse Cross, but this is a Gen 2, a newer revision with the water-cooled intercooler in the top and more power, more cooling. And let's find out how this goes. Also, this would be a good time to test out brand new tarmac mode, which is essentially sorry, wiper. Okay, which is essentially sport mode, because we know that the Destinator is a front-wheel drive unibody crossover. It will handle a lot better than PPVs. We are going currently at around 60. Here are the twisties. Tarmac mode does a few things. Makes the AYC more aggressive, makes the steering feel heavier, increases the throttle response. So you're gonna have fun with this. And right now, we're going 70 because that is the speed limit right now. Very fast, very easy. Plus, that was actually pretty nice. The steering wheel got a lot heavier. Next, time to do stuff for NVH. We put it back in normal mode because we will not be taking that in tarmac mode. Okay, so first example, we will be driving over lateral joints and uneven surfaces. Because this has shock absorbers very similar to the Montero Sport, the ride comfort is up there. So the back, when I was sitting in the back earlier, I wasn't getting dizzy or anything. Plus, road noise and NVH is really good. So the back, really quiet. This simulates different surfaces. So, as a joke earlier, they said, this is what the Philippine roads look like. And to be fair to the Japanese, they got it right now. So we're going over cracked concrete with cat's eyes, or those road dividers that we see. Not that much of an issue. This is, well, just bad road in general. What I can tell you is at speeds of 65 to 70, which we would be traveling over provincial highways, it's very, very quiet. Now, pothole, okay? We head straight over another road surface. And then earlier, what I was feeling here is that it's actually very comfortable. Yeah, granted, we're not supposed to be going that fast over stuff like these, but we are at the proving grounds of Okazaki. And that's how we push the cars to find out what can and what they cannot do. So I don't know if you can hear this, but tire noise over the smooth asphalt, and this is also a road divider, but we don't have this in the Philippines. It's not very disturbing. If you want to know how powerful the new engine is compared to, say, like the turbo diesel of the Montero Sport, well, this is a good way to find out. We go back in tarmac mode, and then we... So first up, Mitsubishi's Okazaki plant has a really big banked test track. And the objective here is to see how fast the cars can go in different conditions. We're going over a banked test track right now, and we are approaching 120 kilometers an hour. Oh God. And then okay to go fast?
Yes.
Okay, let's go. 40. 150. 160. Let off. Slow down because we cannot take the bank at 160, obviously. But wow. I drove on this track a few years ago with the Mitsubishi Triton. This exact same one, and god damn, it actually comes really close to this. So, bravo, Mitsubishi. So we exit in now?
No, go straight. It's
Go straight?
okay, yeah.
Okay, because we were going too fast.
Yeah.
130, 140, and slow down. Obviously, there is a lot of wind noise and road noise, but then when you're going at maybe 130, 140, overspeeding is probably the thing that you'd be most concerned about rather than road noise or anything. The car handles really well, and it has a great engine to match. Now it's time to head back. Okay, so the next test that we are doing is to compare the normal and wet driving modes. We will be doing a slalom across a wet road and then also a donut, right?
Yes.
So let's find out how this performs. Well, normal mode right now, we are doing pretty fine. The active yaw control in this car helps out a lot. What's next? So we should be doing about 40 kilometers per hour in this donut area. And then right now, even the active yaw control is helping, but then there, I feel understeer. And that is not supposed to happen, especially in dangerous situations where you have to evade and watch out for cars on the road. And I suppose now we switch to wet mode.
Yeah.
So when engaging wet mode, the active yaw control is way more aggressive. Obviously, it ramps up the traction control. And as you can see right now, or I can tell you, is that I am not experiencing any or very little understeer because this is front wheel drive. And now we shall return to the slalom. So now, this is how we do the slalom in wet mode. So ready, 3, 2, 1, go. Immediately, way more confident. This is actually one of the sharpest handling SUVs that I have driven in a while. And yeah, Mitsubishi knows their stuff. Active yaw control works. Mud mode.
Destinator has a good ground clearance, so this was no problem.
Good ground clearance and
Yeah.
approach departure angle.
So yes. Here is a matte section.
Okay.
None of the special action, just aspect.
Okay. Oh! Oh! Oh!
Now I'm going.
Ah!
29, 30,
32. Oh. Oh, oh, oh. Okay, this one we are doing the handling course. But there's a little twist. Our lead car is a Lancer Evolution 9 MR. And the goal is that they want us to follow that car.
For the leading car.
So right now, we are driving the Destinator and we are following a Lancer Evolution 9 MR. And this is the handling track. So I guess let's see how well this does compared to its predecessor with active yaw control. It's a 7-seater crossover, don't get me wrong, but this is handling itself pretty damn well. So go bounce over the curbs. But I mean, obviously not. They don't want us to do that. It's a very tight and narrow track, but my God, it's just so surreal following a Lancer Evolution in a Destinator. And there, as they said, please change the drive mode to tarmac. So this will sharpen up everything. And just as I said, tarmac is like sport mode, where steering gets heavier, AYC gets more aggressive, and throttle response gets better. So it should feel way more like that Lancer Evolution that we are following. Sharp throttle response, heavier steering. And it turns in better, thanks to the active yaw control actually being dialed up. It's great. And it's raining. What can I say? It's handling pretty well. And the rain is starting to pour, so I don't know what will happen next. So that's it for Okazaki preview of the Mitsubishi Destinator. So stay tuned for more details, and when we finally get to review the car, I'll tell you more about it. Thank you for watching.